Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday podcast. Good morning. Good morning. Well, happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining the Wednesday podcast with your host, Dr. Mary Segars. You know the drill. Grab your coffee cup. Perhaps you want herbal tea or green tea or your orange juice or maybe just water, which is always good for us. And join in on the conversation. Welcome to the December podcast episode. And for the last month of 2022, can you believe it? What happened to this year, right? But here it is, December the 7th, 2022, and we'll be discussing for the entire month, wrapping up 2022 and preparing for 2023. Are you ready? Well, let's get ready. I'd like to share with you last week, I had a mentorship session with my mentor, Chris Robertson. And in that session, he challenged me, along with others, to list 10 things that I've learned in 2022. That was a very thought provoking session because I learned so much in 2022. I'm sure you can say the same. You've had some lessons learned in 2022, right? But what helped me to do this list, I went month by month. What did I learn in January? What was the overall learning I did in January? What about in February? What about in March? So I really had 12 things that I listed because when we learn something, we can apply that application again and again and again. Perhaps you may want to do it quarterly, but I want to challenge you or encourage you to really write a list of what did you learn in 2022. Some of your lessons might be surprising to you, but if you take time to say, I've learned this or I've learned that, I learned not to do this, I learned how to do this better. And then when we capture those learning experiences, as we're capturing those learning experiences, I would like to encourage you to be honest with yourself, be very candid, and be very specific about the learning experiences. Now, this can include good learning experiences. We all have some of those, right? As well as the bad learning experiences. So please take this process seriously. That's how we learn, that's how we grow. Now, the positive experience, like I shared, we can do it over and over again because we know what to do, how to do it, what temperament we need, what emotions that's been put in. And so we can do that again and again in 2023. But those negative learning experiences, let's learn from those. Okay, I need not to do this, or I need to back up. I need to put a pause in what I'm saying or my emotions so we don't repeat those same things in 2023. Let me share with you one of the learnings that I did want to share with you this morning. And one of the learnings that I've learned that really impacted my heart this year was echoed from my mentor years ago. And it's simply this. I want to share my screen with you at this time too. Practice makes better. I know we've always heard the cliche, practice makes perfect, but in reality, we can't strive for perfection. There's only one that's perfect, and that's Jesus. But the practice makes us better. And so when my mentor told me years ago, don't strive for perfection, strive for improvement. And the more you practice, the more you rehearse things, that you'll be able to be better than you were before. And so that was one of the lessons that I've learned. And I want to share with you because maybe you've found out that a lot of times you like to shoot from the hip, or, sometimes that's an appropriate time to do that. But to be more better. I was going to be more perfect, to be more better is if you practice before you get on stage or practice before you present something, because you're representing yourself, you're representing your company, you're representing your family name, whatever. But practice really does help us to be better. We always want to improve, right? Continuous improvement, continuous development of ourselves, and continuous growth for us. And it's that same mindset about practice makes better. It reminds me also what my mentor told me, and I told others as well. The 5 P's: proper preparation. That means to practice and to rehearsal. It will prevent poor performance. So when you have proper time to practice, to stand in front of a mirror, oftentimes, allow someone who accountability person to let them listen to you and give you some feedback about how you can improve. But you need to proper preparation that will prevent poor performance, because we always want to be our best when we're before people or one-on-one with a person. You would always want to represent yourself as being the best, knowledgeable, a lot of wisdom, so that you can say that I put the effort in, and it's a concerted effort that we have to do to proper preparation, practice. And again, I say practice. That can be a learning lesson for all of us, because so many times if we don't practice, we're not prepared. So proper preparation prevent. As we're talking about some of the lessons that we learned, you can also call this a reflection time. Let me share with you this as well. As you ask yourself, what were my big wins or my small wins or small successes? I often say this: celebrate the small success or the small wins, because that gives you encouragement to continue on to do more things, and you learn from what you did, and you're able to step up to do bigger and greater things. So what were some of those small wins? Even though no one might have said great job, but you know within your heart you put the effort into it, you prayed about it, you presented it, and it went well. And then what about those big successes? Is it possible that you had a team that helped you to be very successful in that big way? So make sure that you jot those down and say, wow, March of 2022, we had an event that was just phenomenal. And so we have to remember those successes. That gives us the motivation to continue to do more and more. In between, you may have some losses, but learn from your losses. I've heard my mentor John Maxwell always say failure and success are hand in hand. They come together. You got to have one. You can't have one without the other. So even though we may not have succeeded like we wanted to, but those failures going to teach us even a greater lesson: what not to do, how to do it, how to pivot if necessary. Another thing is, you're doing reflection. What am I thankful for? As you've been following my podcast for the month of November, we were talking about thankfulness and gratefulness and how to display and show your gratitude. Thankfulness will really go a long, long way. If it wasn't for the grace of God, will we able to do the things that we were able to do? And then there may be your team that you want to tell them. Maybe you just mention to your team, I am so thankful for you. I'm so grateful that you came through and you were able to stand by me and encourage me and strengthen me. They need to know that you're thankful for that. So many times, oh, they know. No, until you tell them. They can't read our minds. They can't guess. Let them hear that from you. Sometimes it may take a nice note, thank you note. Let me just share with you, this past weekend, I had an opportunity to be the retreat speaker at my girlfriend's church. It was the Daughters of Destiny, and it was at the hotel there in Livonia. Wonderful group of women and young people. And one of the ladies that was there, I've never met her before. I was sharing, some things with them about how to unlock your authentic self, 4 ways to unlock your authentic self and be a winner that God created us. And she came up to me afterwards. She said, I'm so thankful for your speech. Yeah, I needed everything. I was writing down so many notes. And she said, I want to bless you with something. I said, oh, no, that's not necessary. But she came up to my room. We were in the room, and she gave me a beautiful handheld microphone that I had complimented. I liked hers. And so I was gifted a gift, unexpected, but I was so thankful. So of course I wrote her a nice little thank you note and just showing my appreciation. So we got to let people know how we feel and how they impacted our life. And as we're still going through reflection, what event or moments created joy for you and it put a smile on your face? I could think of two real quick in 2022. Was the first one was in March when we had a elegant night with the authors. And we had a wonderful book launch event for the authors that was in the book, number one bestseller. Unlock Your Hidden Treasure. It's time to shine. And they invited their guests. We had a wonderful reception. It was time of fellowship. It was just a wonderful event. It brought so much joy, not only to my face, but to all the authors and all their guests that were there. And I seen people later on after that event in Kroger's. Oh, I am still talking about how wonderful that event was. We had a wonderful time. And it just brought joy to my heart. It just put a smile on my face. I said, okay, we can do that again. And in fact, we did do that again back in August of 2022, my birthday month. And we had another event. It was called the White Party with the authors. And that was for the number one bestseller authors and their families, where we said, release your hidden treasure, continue to shine. Again, another event that brought joy, not only to me, but to the entire team. And I tell you, I told the authors then, I said, we know how to do a book launch, okay? With the help and the support of everyone, it was just a phenomenal event. And I mentioned at that event that we will have a first authors retreat book cruise. And so we're planning that for 2023. I'll talk more about that in the next session about preparing for 2023. And so we're just going to take it up to the next level. We've done two successful book launches, live book launches, like I've never seen before. And now we're going to go and take it on the cruise. So I am so excited. That's going to really bring so much joy, not only to me, but to the team, to the authors. And so you will be hearing more about that. I'm just so, so excited. As there's always the positive, there's always the other side, the negative side. What events or moments caused you stress? I understand that sometimes stress can be good for us, but we don't need an overdose of stress. Stress can be a number one cause for heart attacks, for anxiety attacks. So we want to minimize our stress. So as you reflect and think about in 2022, what caused you some stress in your life? You want to eliminate that or minimize that. Was it sometimes we may have to step back, make sure that we're not letting our emotions get out of control, but stress is not needed in our lives. It really isn't. Our bodies were not designed to have stress to the point that it caused damage to our physical body and to our mental capacity and our spiritual realm. So we need to really eliminate and minimize that stress, because in 2023, you learned the lesson in 2022, but you don't want to take that stress in 2023. Maybe you said yes to too many things that you should have said no to. And sometimes we need to learn how to set boundaries for ourselves. People will put pressure on us, but we have the responsibility of saying, no, this is not in my purpose. This is not in what I need to do for this year. I'll pray for you about that event, but I'm not able to participate. And so it's okay to say no sometimes. So many times, yes, 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 yes. And the Lord said, I didn't tell you to do that. So let's make sure we minimize or eliminate stress, because we don't need to carry that over in 2023. The things that you want to do in 2023, you need to have a stress-less environment. And so don't take on stress, because that won't help you to accomplish what you need to do. And mentioning that as you do reflection in 2022, wrapping up 2022, did you accomplish your goals? So many times, I had goals set, and I can really say they've been executed. Not because I've done, I was like a concerted effort to make sure that they were executed goals, because the one thing that can get you so discouraged and so dismayed is not accomplishing your goals. And again, could it be we put too much on our plate Do we not think about the setbacks that we can accomplish our goals? When you set goals, you need to allow for that strategy. In the event this doesn't happen, how can I pivot? How can I make an adjustment? How can I still accomplish that goal? But I know I'm gonna have some pushback. I'm gonna have some negativity, but allow for that when you're setting goals. And more importantly than all of that, have you grown this year from 2021? You should see a measurement of how you have grown from 2021 to 2022. Are you able to say, I've learned to have more patience, not only with myself, but with others, or whatever that growth measurement is? You should be able to see yourself grown in different areas, be it in the physical realm. Do you have better relationships with your family? Do you have a better relationship with your spouse, with your church members? Do you have better relationship with your neighbors? What about your coworkers, your job? Relationships going to be so, so important in 2023, because I always say this, you are not an island to yourself. I need you. And guess what? You need me. We need each other. God said it's not good for mankind to be alone. And so when we allow ourselves to learn how to accept people for who they are, and they will accept you for who you are, that you can be able to work together and to accomplish great things. Because I love that African proverbs where it said, if you want to do something fast, go by yourself. But if you want to accomplish something far and deep and wide, join some other people to help you do that. And so when you allow yourself to have that relationship, not a toxic relationship, not a pseudo relationship, but a genuine relationship, I challenge you to look at Jesus through the Gospels and how he was able to relate to anyone, rich, poor, wine beggar, a person who's has been from the gutter to the highest. So we can learn how to have relationship with people. You be genuine, you be authentic, be yourself, and you will be able to see how you can grow from one point to another. Mentioning that, I'll give you an example how I know I have grown. I used to have a low tolerance for, and I'm just being truthful here. I call it with craziness, or people that just, that just don't see things the way I see it. And the Lord said, wait a minute, they think differently than you. They have a different mindset than you. You allow yourself to put yourself in their position. And so when I was able to do that, I had more patience. I was able to be more understanding. I was able to relate better because I took myself out of the equation. I was trying to focus and dedicate and give them my undivided attention to learn what they were saying, to understand what they were saying. And so it helped me to grow. It really helped me to grow in that area. And there's so many other things that I can grow in as well as you, I'm sure. Well, we can't be so judgmental and allow ourselves to grow and to flow, because 2023 is going to be another amazing year, because I've declared 2022 is going to be an epic year, and I will declare excuse me, it has been an epic year. It exceeded my expectations and far beyond. And so I'm just so excited about that 2023. And I love this quote from Walt Disney. Said the way to get started for 2023 is to quit talking and begin doing. And so a lot of times we need to invest maybe in a accountability person, or invest in a coach to help us to accomplish the things that we need to do in 2023. So are you ready to wrap up 2022? And when I say wrapping up 2022, just like that, put a bow on it. There's no ends loose. There's no unfinished business taken care of. I mean, I'm even talking with my accountant. We're getting all the accounts in order. I mean, there's no outstanding bills. There's no outstanding invoices. So we're able to do what I know I need to do, because I'm wrapping up. And, and once you wrap up, you set that aside and you're ready to jump full force, sleeves rolled up, ready to do the job for 2023. So let me encourage you. I'll stop sharing here. As you're wrapping up 2022, take the time to list those 10 things that you've learned in 2022. I'm sure you've learned many of lessons. And maybe you can even share that with an accountability person or your loved one or your spouse or a friend that you trust. And just write down and jot down in your memory, what did you learn? So that those learning lessons will be great and that you'll be able to say, I'm ready for 2023. So next year, next month, next week, I'm sorry, I'm rushing here. Next week, I'll have some guests on that will talk about how they wrapped up 2022 and now preparing for 2023. So the remaining of the Wednesdays of this, we got 3 more Wednesdays before this year is over. We will have guests sharing how they were able to wrap it up, no loose ends, and they're able what they've learned and how they're charging and ready to go into 2023. So thank you for joining in on the conversation. I hope you got some wisdom nuggets as we talked about wrapping up 2022. And I'll see you next week as we talk about preparing for 2022. Have a blessed day and enjoy this month of December. Bye for now.